Welcome to our latest ASUN basketball preview. We head to Tennessee and take a look at Lipscomb University. On the men's side, we've got their second-year head coach, Lenny Acuff. Joining us is Greg Jones from his squad. And on the other side is Lauren Sumsky, along with their top returning player and top returning scorer from a year ago in Taylor Clark. Lenny, first of all, give us a feel for what it's been like for your group in a COVID world and what the greatest challenge has been with some of the changes you've had to deal with.
Well, it's been a long 8 months for sure. We were fortunate to finish real strong last year and played at Liberty on the last, I guess, ASUN athletic event that went on, I guess, March 4th, 5th, whatever that was. And really for 5-6 months, we didn't see our guys at all. And, they went home. And so there was a lot of challenges with that. And then it has been really good since we've been back. Now, there have been bumps in the road. We're in the middle of one right now, but we're going to get through it. But I really am so appreciative of our guys because I felt like they did what they were supposed to do when they were away from us and put herself in a position to not have to be backtracking every day. But to say it hasn't been challenging, it would be less than honest, but also you have to look at it as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity for us to maybe discover some things about ourselves that we maybe had taken for granted. So we're just excited to be back and hoping and praying we'll have as close to normal basketball season as we can.
Lauren, what about you? What's been the greatest challenge for your group?
I'd echo the same sentiments. I think the greatest challenge for us has been being away from each other. Like Coach Acuff mentioned, we missed spring with our young people, which is a huge time for development personally on the court. Academically, we missed summer sessions and, we just came back and tried to get brought up to speed as quickly as we could. But I would say that our young people had a great perspective on it, a great outlook. I think they got a chance to miss the game, miss each other. And I think they've come back revitalized, but it's just the, operating day to day. As coaches, we love to know what's coming next. I like to think we're probably expert planners and, preparers. And we're always doing the best we can with these plans and preparations are changing almost hourly at this point. So that's been the greatest challenge, but there have been a lot of highlights that have come out of it, being that we've got a chance to refocus and, come in to approach the game from a different perspective. So we're thankful just to be together each and every day now. We don't take that for granted at all.
Greg, as a student athlete, how have you grown through this and what's been the greatest challenge in trying to grow academically and athletically?
I think just the adjustment to just a lot of online classes, keeping track of when you have stuff due, because we've been doing cohorts as well. So it's half in class, half out of class. So just trying to stay focused and try to keep pace and going on. And with our classes being in person, making sure we're meeting with our professors when we can, because it's usually you can just walk into a professor's office, but it's a little bit different now, setting up Zoom meetings and stuff like that.
Taylor, how about you? You're the top returning scorer from a year ago. Obviously, you're trying to provide leadership. How do you do that in a society where you guys are separated so often?
Well, we harped a lot on this summer. We harped that the team that adjusts the best is going to be the most successful. And I think that that's something that we've carried over. And we've kind of been a leadership team from the inside out. And it's not been like one person leading or like the seniors leading. It's been like a whole team thing. So I think that's helped. But yeah.
Lenny, give us a feel for your group. You grew very quickly last year with a lot of change in a short period of time. Does that help at all in preparing for this year?
The thing that we talked about was trying to make sure that, we didn't want to have to hit a reset. We wanted to continue to build on where we finished last year. And like I said earlier, I'm really proud of our guys. It has been such an enjoyable group to be around. And, we're a long, long way from a ride, but I know we're a long way ahead of where we were at this time last year for sure. We've had some guys that have really done a great job with their leadership, Greg being one of the main guys. Greg ended up having a great year for us last year, and he's been a big part of kind of galvanizing our guys and making sure we're moving in the right direction. So, there's days it does. Honestly, it gets discouraging. It gets frustrating. I hate it for the kids more than anybody else, but we just really have tried to take the mindset that all we can control really is the day in front of us and just make it the best it can be.
Lauren, you've got your top 4 scorers back from a year ago, which is, for a young team, that certainly is impressive. So how have they grown? Who's grown the most since you've gotten to see them?
Oh my goodness. The growth that we've had from top to bottom has been exponential. The growth and maturity as people, the growth and maturity as players. I'm blessed to say that everyone came back in pretty good shape. Everyone came back with improved skill sets, improved outlooks on where we were. And I think what people forget the most about us last year is that, 2 games into the season, our entire lineup looks really, really different because we have people go down with injuries. And Taylor Clark had to play out of position a lot for us. So we're happy to try to return her back to a more natural position. But she's grown tremendously as a senior and as someone who's a leader in our program in the ways that she's been challenged and had to adjust. And I think that that's definitely rubbed off on a lot of, our other players. And we're just really thankful for that growth. But we've had a lot of people step up. That year of experience was really valuable for us as a team. So we're just excited to get on the court.
Greg, you guys have a couple of your double-digit scores back from a year ago. So what's the vibe like with the group, and where do you think that guys have grown the most from a year ago?
I think everybody's really looking forward to the season. I feel like losing the championship game, we got a lot to prove. Even though we did make a lot of big strides starting from the beginning of the season until the end. I think that with the returning guys that we have, everybody's really improved, looking really good in practice. The new guys that we added are really good players, and we're really excited to get them working with the team, and they've gelled just perfectly with the team. So we're really excited about the season.
Taylor, on the floor, where do you think your game has moved up another notch? You're considered one of the better players this year in the ASUN, and how do you think you can continue to grow this year?
Well, like LA said, last year I had to play a little bit out of position, the 5 position, which is I'm a little bit undersized. I don't think it's a secret. So this year I'm going to be playing more of like the 4 and the 3 position. I don't want to give too much away, but we've been harping on being like shooters first and trusting the process. And I think that's been big for all of us moving up and improving our game that way.
Lenny, how do you think you kind of established what you wanted to last year? I mean, obviously you had success. You got to the championship, as Greg mentioned, and you also added a senior grad transfer this year from Belmont Abbey, who I think probably can have a pretty big impact on your group, yes?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting to know the kids. I think all of us are more comfortable. I think each of us, relationally, we've grown. And I think that's a big deal, to have stability on your staff, to have everyone back. And, it's just, we really have a high character bunch of guys. And I am excited about the new guys we have brought in. However, our progress this year is going to be based on what the guys that returned have done. They've all really bought into what we're selling. And I feel like there's no doubt about it. There's a high buy-in to what we're doing. But we think we've added 3 good players to the mix. One thing that gets a little looked over in this whole equation is we had 2 kids that were out for the year last year that were hurt, that were medical redshirt. Jake Wolf started our first 8 games and we lost him for the year. And then Alex Jones was playing a good bit for us too. And we lost him for the year before Christmas. So those are actually, you could consider those newcomers as well to our group. But Romeo Ferguson is the grad transfer you're referring to from Belmont Abbey. And we do think he has a chance to be very impactful on our team. He's just kind of a Swiss Army knife. He's good at a lot of things and can play a lot of positions. And he checks a lot of boxes for us, high basketball IQ, and really fits our system. And then we brought in 2 freshman point guards, Will Pruitt and Tommy Murr, that both have done well and we think have a chance to be impactful as well. So, I am excited about all the new guys, and now it's just all about trying to piece it all together in a very challenging environment where you could be practicing one day and then shut down for 2 weeks the next. So there's a lot of landmines out there we're trying to stay away from.
No question about that. Lauren, knowing that, how have the new players mixed in with some of the returning players, because most of your scoring is back from a year ago?
Yeah, echoing a lot of the same sentiments. We had players that were injured last season, 4 of them actually, and weren't able to compete for us in Dory Harrison, Sydney Shelton, Lindsay Whiteside, and Gracie Simpson, who we expect to be able to help us at different capacities. So we're basically adding 4 new players along with 2 freshmen as well, and Diana Soleil and Jordan Pete. The 4 players that were returning from last year have a better understanding of our system because they were around and are much more adjusted, where we had freshmen who last year, honestly, they missed prom and they missed graduation and they missed a lot of those landmark events, and then they come in and have to miss summer. So they're still playing a little bit of catch up, but we expect them to be able to help us in time. It just may take a little bit longer than we typically anticipate, incoming freshmen being able to help us on the floor. But I think our returning players and our upperclassmen, have done a really great job of bringing them along day by day by day. We've been riding them pretty hard and, expecting them to catch up to speed. But I think our upperclassmen have been really great mentors for them and trying to expedite that process a little bit.
Greg, as a player who, has been around the program a bit and has a good feel for ASUN basketball, who's someone maybe that we're not talking about that the ASUN is going to know a lot about by the time this season is done on Lipscomb basketball?
I think that Parker Hazen has a really good potential to be a great player. His energy is almost unmatched. He brings it every day, practice, and he's a very good vocal leader for our team. I think that he should have a really good year if he just stays the course.
And Taylor, from your end, obviously, you're getting some preseason recognition, but who's a player maybe in your group that you think the ASUN will be talking about when the season's done?
So Kaylee Rosenbaum this last year, she had gone through a few injuries and she was in and out of play a little bit. She had some foot fracture and a toe fracture. So it was something that was like manageable some games, and then some games she had to miss. But she's really gotten to work this summer and gotten in really good shape. And I think that she's going to be a big difference maker in our team this year. And I think she's going to be a big factor in the ASUN.
And for Lenny and Lauren, give us both your feel as to if you guys are to be successful, what are the keys to success for each of your groups?
Well, I think Greg made a great point. Parker is really our only senior that's been in the program. We have two seniors, Parker Hazen and Romeo Ferguson. Romeo, we've already talked about as a grad transfer. I think those two guys, and Parker's done an amazing job. He and Greg, kind of our first two guys back to campus this summer, and they've just really set the tone for what we want our program to be about and our work ethic. And, and I don't think there's any secret. We have a tremendous player back in Asana Sajala that was, first team all conference last year and, had an amazing year. We will depend on him a lot as well. But we've got a lot of other guys. KJ Johnson had a great year for us as well. And I think for us, it's just really, and I know sounds like coach speak, but we really do have to just worry about getting better every day. And I think our guys have done a good job of that. We feel good about where we are. We're excited to, get some rhythm in practice and have everybody with us, which is being a challenge. But we're going to get there. And for what I know will be a really competitive Atlantic Sun.
Lauren?
I would agree. I think that big thing for us is just to maximize every opportunity that we have every day, be willing to adjust and adapt and overcome all the new that will be thrown at us this year. And I think the team that, is able to reset quickly. We're in a condensed season non-conference wise. We know that conference is going to look a bit different this year as far as playing the same teams twice at, whatever institution that we're at. So it's just going to be about making adjustments over and over and over and over again. I think the team that does that the best stays the course the longest, stays together the longest, is going to have an opportunity to be the most successful. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's who we're trying to be.
We wish you guys both the best of luck. That's Lenny Acuff and Greg Jones on the men's side, and Lauren Sumsky and her top returning player, Taylor Clark, on the women's side. That's a look at Lipscomb basketball. Thanks for joining us on our latest ASUN Hoops preview.